My name is Sunil Rao, and I lead consumer goods go-to-market for Salesforce. I'm here today to talk to you about what we're seeing in the consumer goods industry and to speak a little bit about what we're hearing from our customers are the top 3 important things driving transformation in the industry given the current situation with the global pandemic. Now, besides wreaking total havoc on the global economy and the global supply chain, this pandemic has forced a lot of consumer goods companies to rethink what's important and start to prioritize what are the areas of focus, both immediately, in the near term, and the longer term. One such framework is the one we're seeing at Salesforce, utilized across several companies. It's this idea of having a phase of stabilization, a state of normalization where you're approaching some sort of steady state, and then an acceleration phase that's a little further out, but really starting to think about what the future looks like in terms of what happens after we get through this ordeal together. If we consider the immediate phase, stabilization, a lot of the things that we're hearing revolve around, first of all, making sure employees are safe, making sure the communities that consumer goods companies operate within are safe, and in many cases, giving back to these communities when they're in need. We're hearing a lot of stories about manufacturing facilities being turned into plants for hand sanitizers or other forms of PPE. This is something that is happening across the board, across several companies, and is very inspiring to see. The second near-term challenge a lot of consumer goods companies are trying to overcome is getting ahead of the demand that they're seeing from all these products that they sell, whether it's through the retail channel or online through e-commerce. And it's not necessarily good for business. Although sales may be surging in some categories and in some channels, namely retail and e-commerce, it's suffering in several others. When you think about quick serve restaurants, when you think about food service distribution. So although the pandemic is driving up sales, it's not doing so necessarily in a healthy way for a lot of companies. The third near-term challenge a lot of CG companies are dealing with is the fact that digital marketing spend is down. Budgets are being cut given that there isn't a lot of traffic going out into stores. So brands that are spending money on marketing, brands that are spending money on digital, are dialing it back and need to be more efficient than ever. Once the economy goes through this slow, cold start where we're sequentially activating different sectors and different parts of the world. And of course, the brands that now start to think about what that looks like can position themselves to come out stronger than ever and more resilient than ever as they think about what the implications will be. If you think about Stabilize, we have offerings that allow you to stand up a direct-to-consumer capability very quickly within 2 weeks and run it as a managed service with select partners of ours. This is for those companies that need a channel to sell and fulfill to consumers given the constraints that are imposed on them today through retail. The second area is focused on bringing that same commerce capability in a very quick way, but focused on B2B. So think about the retailers or the distributors that are not able to sell their products by going in and physically meet with customers. How can you provide them digital capabilities to transact and continue the order capture and the commerce transaction, even though you're not able to physically get in front of the customer? And finally, we're seeing a huge opportunity in being able to understand not just the consumer domain, but also how you optimize what you did in store. So as we come out of this phase with what's happening in the world, what does the store of the future look like? How can we sell through that store? Will the volumes that we sell through retail be the same in the new world? We don't know, but what we do know is that there will need to be better connectivity and better relationships between the customers, the retailers, and the brands that serve the products to them in order for them to make sure that the issues that we ran into this time around don't surface again in the future. And as we think through these solutions, we're working really closely with our partners. They're going to be key to being able to deliver on the promise of these capabilities, but also helping our CG customers think through how to address the challenges that lie before us, but more importantly, the opportunity that lies ahead of us.